Hey everyone, good evening. It's Roman Rich. This is 66 Minutes with Roman Rich. I'm your host of the show. I happen to be a Route 66 promoter, researcher, and preservationist. I also happen to be the president of the Missouri Route 66 Association. Tonight is show number 003. That's right. We're well on our way to getting a full series going here. Now, this is a reminder that this is a weekly show, and you can catch us every Sunday evening at this time, 7 p.m. We moved from Thursdays to Sundays. It just kind of helps make a little bit more flexibility for our viewers and for our producers and myself so we can make a better show. So again, from here on out, Sundays, 7 p.m., we're going to try to start scheduling these events, and you'll be able to see those preparations, previews, so to speak, on my social media platforms such as Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. So we're going to try to do that within a few days prior to each show. And yeah, it's just a casual show. I bring people on. We talk about Route 66 for about an hour or so. And we also invite everyone out there to get involved and participate. Ask questions, be part of the chat. We can see all of your comments. Our producers, George, can see all of your comments and questions and stuff, and we'll be taking those. Let's see here. You can catch us at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and officially tonight, we also opened up on Twitch. So it's our first night for Twitch. That's a good thing for those of you that happen to peruse that website as well. You can always catch up with us, see the old episodes that you want to see. Those are on my YouTube channel under live. If you just look up Hooked on Route 66 and go to live videos, that category, you can see all of my live videos, including these episodes of 66 Minutes. Okay, so if you're here for the first time, we try to have new guests that are interested or are experts of some sort on Route 66. We do live chats. Occasionally, we're going to do on the scene live broadcasts. We take requests. We also use QR codes during the whole video that will give you helpful information on events and products and stuff like that. So you see the QR code, you can scan those or tap them. It just kind of varies depending on how you're watching this. Be ready with all your questions. Send them through your various forums. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, we'll catch those and we'll try to address them accordingly. Okay, so tonight, let me see where I'm at here. Tonight, we have our very, very first in-studio guest, and her name is Rita Kirchoff. Now, generally, I would do the segment on what T-shirt is Roman Rich wearing tonight. And tonight, I'm just kind of wearing a normal Route 66 signed T-shirt. It's one of my favorite ones. It's very comfortable, but that's not the T-shirt tonight. That's not the official one. I love wearing T-shirts wherever I go that emulate Route 66 because it helps me show off the road. It helps me take the road with me wherever I go. A lot of times it'll spark a conversation. People are interested in those types of things depending on what's depicted on the T-shirt. And I'm also spending the money to buy the T-shirt. I'm promoting that business and I'm putting money in their pockets, which is a good thing for all the businesses up and down Route 66. So if you have a T-shirt that you'd like to see on the show, if you have a business or something, get a hold of me. Let me know. Send me a T-shirt. I'll be glad to wear it on the show and help promote your business. Just shoot me a message or an email. Tonight, I'm going to mix it up a bit. Rita is going to be wearing the T-shirt, and we will focus on her a little bit. Now, it's kind of strange because last week when we did the T-shirt, we talked about a T-shirt that we really didn't like. And Rita's wearing a T-shirt kind of similar to that. They're related. But so I feel like we had to deal with that other shirt in a creative way. So the shirt she's wearing tonight is the Roadkill Cafe. The shirt we featured last week was the Roadkill Diner. And to my knowledge, there is no Roadkill Diner. It was a souvenir shop in Livingston, Illinois. The Pink Elephant, some of you would know that, was peddling this particular T-shirt, and it's just chock full of errors, and it's missing 2 states. It omits and replicate, or actually substitutes a couple of states that aren't even on Route 66. Just a horrible, horrible shirt. So here in just a second, we're going to show you what we did to that shirt, and then I'll take you to Rita and we can see her shirt. So George, cue up the footage from last week on us.
So here's the infamous shirt. This comes to you guys from my sister. Now, don't get confused. This has nothing to do with the Roadkill Cafe in Seligman, Arizona. This came out of Livingston, Illinois, where the Pink Elephant's at, out of their gift shop. And my sister picked it up for me. She thought it would be kind of a neat gift. And I had quite a laugh because, as you can see here, it has all the various states listed along Route 66. Except it's not right. It shows Colorado, Utah, then it gets into Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. So I'd like to refer to this as a bit of misinformation. And even funnier is for Utah, it shows the Show Me Shih Tzu for $7.75. That's one of their dishes, as if the Show Me state is Utah, which is actually Missouri. So that's pretty interesting how they just completely missed Illinois and Missouri altogether. So, you know, and it goes beyond that. There's a couple little errors on there, spelling errors, like let's take for instance in Oklahoma, the air brake owl. It was saying woo when though the windshield it flew, as if we got all Shakespearean all of a sudden. So yeah, pretty interesting. This is a misinformation T-shirt. I could never wear this with any sort of pride, but we can still use it for entertainment. I got something for this shirt. Yes, the Roadkill 66 Diner. Killing comes to mind. Say hello to my little friend. Let's see here, make sure got it all ready to go. Yeah. Oh, you gotta love that. There's your misinformation. Your Route 66 Roadkill Cafe T-shirt with all the errors. That's what it deserves right there, folks. Better make sure we do a good job here. Yeah. So I just thought of a great new dish for that Roadkill Cafe. We're gonna call it Burned at the Stake.
Oh, that was great. I loved every moment of torching that shirt, and hopefully the Pink Elephant will pull that shirt off the shelves so that people aren't looking around or walking around foolish. So anyway, without further delay, I'm going to bring on tonight's guest. It's our only guest for the night in studio. We have Rita Kirchoff all the way from Wisconsin. And everybody, big round of applause for Rita. Cafe shirt, right?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It's one of my favorite shirts too. Let me show you the back if we can get it on so that you'll
Sure.
see the official.
Oh, that looks great. You
The
kill it, we grill it.
Yes, that's a great shirt that Debbie and Bruce Miha have out in Seligman, Arizona.
Great people,
They are
fantastic
great
people. So you keep them warm down here in Missouri? You're from
Way-
Wisconsin?
Way warmer here than back at home.
Yeah.
I think we're getting about 12 inches of snow up there.
Yeah, Rita is escaping Wisconsin right now. She came down to help me at the Shamrock during our last session this week. We did a bunch of dirt work and stuff, and her and Elizabeth Olwig and several others came out to help as well, and they were very instrumental in getting a lot of progress done this week. So maybe we have a little bit of footage of the Roadkill Cafe that we can share with the audience, because it truly is a really unique place along Route 66. Do we have anything, George, available to show? Well, let's see here. The Roadkill is really neat. They've got a lot there. They got a motel, a restaurant, a saloon. They've got all sorts of stuff going on there. Let's see here. We're a little laggy, it looks like, tonight. Yeah, that's part of it. Okay. Well, Rita,
Yes.
how did we first meet?
We first met actually like at MopCon, which you probably don't remember. I introduced
Okay.
myself way back in
That's
2017.
okay.
But then you had announced a John's Modern Cabins work day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right. I jumped in my truck at 8 o'clock that evening, drove 12 and a half hours, and showed up. I was here about 45 minutes, I think, before you got there.
I think so. I pulled up and I was like, who's in this strange truck just sitting here?
Taking a nap.
Yeah.
And then we worked all day, worked hard, and got a lot of things accomplished over there.
Yeah.
At the John's Modern Cabins. Got that cabin shored up and got a lot of brush cleared away. Added some polyurethane to the sides.
This is the Shamrock stuff they're showing. I wonder if they can show the John's Modern Cabin. I had a couple things from John's Modern Cabin, which is shown as JMC in my files. Yeah, that was a really neat time. We went out there, and there was a bunch of us that showed up from all over, mostly from Missouri. There was another fellow from Michigan, Scott Sheehan. Yeah. He came all the way down and was very helpful too. But yeah, we saved the one last remaining cabin. I brought a carpenter down with me from St. Louis, and yeah, there it is. We shored up the one last remaining cabin there at John's Modern Cabins. The neon sign's still there, but there's only one cabin left. It's just a real bummer. There used to be.
There we are.
Yep, less than 10 years ago, there was probably 3 or 4 cabins left, but then they all just deteriorated really rapidly. We got a couple of really wet winters, and it really did them in. But the last cabin's still standing there. It's missing a wall. It was one of my dreams to go back in there and try to rebuild it and fix it up, but time has not been so kind to me on how I can get some things done. But maybe one day. I was in contact with the owners of that property there for a while, and they were very receptive to letting us do whatever we wanted to do. I haven't talked to them since that outing we had in 2018. But again, John's Modern Cabin is still there. The sign is still there, and it's still a really neat place to go and reflect on Route 66. But yeah, that's for Rita and I really first kicked it off together, because she came all the way down from Wisconsin to help us and helped battle the poison ivy and the and the copperheads. I know we had to take out a copperhead that was there lurking around, but it was a good time. Good memories there. So anyway, I've got a sponsorship mention here tonight. Again, the Missouri Route 66 Association. If you're not a part of any Route 66 associations out there and you're interested in Route 66, you should really join any association that's closest to you. But the Missouri Route 66 Association puts out this beautiful magazine. Let me grab a copy of it just so you can see right there. That's the Missouri Route 66 Association's quarterly magazine. Put that out every 3 months, and it's full color. Got lots of great articles. That's included in your membership. If you'd like to join, it's missouri66.org. We also do quarterly meetings. We've got one coming up here in April. We can flash that QR code up on the screen. The April meeting is coming up here very, very quickly. And we'll be getting together and touring Carthage, that area. There's lots to see in Carthage, Missouri. There's Red Oak 2. There's the courthouse. There's the Wee Bridge, or the Tickle Tummy Bridge that people refer to, that I know I've jumped before. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but yeah, I've jumped that bridge before. Actually, I've broken 2 laptops jumping that bridge in the last 10 years. The Missouri 66 Association does lots of great things. Membership's really cheap. Online membership starts at just $20. So you're really helping us out, doing a great cause. We put together grants and things like that. So we try to help out businesses. If you have a project on Route 66, we'd love to help you out. You can contact me or go onto the website and fill out a form, and we give out $500 grants periodically to those worthy projects along Route 66. Now, the last thing I'll add about that, the Missouri Route 66 Association, we just sponsored an event in Oklahoma. That's how important Route 66 is to us. We actually go beyond the borders, and this isn't our first time. So we're going to Veneta, Oklahoma, and we are helping to restore the Highway Cafe sign. We helped write a grant for this sign. On March 25th, which is pretty much exactly a month away, we will be out there celebrating the restoration and relighting of that neon sign at the Highway Cafe. Now, we're going to stream it live. And so for those of you that are watching tonight, we will publish this live and kind of treat it as a show, almost like a 66-minute show. You can see it here. We'll stream it live for you in all the same way you're seeing this show tonight. Now, admittedly, I'll tell you, and I'll tell Rita. Rita, have you ever been to the Highway Cafe in Veneta, Oklahoma?
I've been past it. I have not actually been there.
Yep, I've never eaten there. I've never been there before. I've stopped and taken pictures and stuff, but I guess it falls in one of those areas where I've already eaten. Yep. And we're going to probably talk about that a little bit more later. And so I've never been there, but that just goes to show you that you can travel Route 66 as many times as you want and always see something or experience something new. So
absolutely.
That's the fun of Route 66. There's always something new. So that's only a month away. So if you can't be there, join us on the live stream. We'd love to bring it to you. Okay, next up, we're going to talk with Rita a little bit here about her personal experiences on Route 66. How and when did you get interested in Route 66?
Briefly, I'll try to keep it briefly for those of you who know me. That's difficult. But I actually was looking for a way. I love to travel. My husband hated it. Well, not hate. He just was more of a destination traveler.
Many years ago, a destinationist.
Absolutely. And so I had taken a vacation with him out to California. It was just miserable. So I was trying to find a way where I could travel, he could travel, we could actually enjoy it. And since we're avid car people and car collectors, and I figured what better way than to entice him with old gas stations, vintage cars, and hamburgers and drive-ins. So about 2007, 2006, I started researching a little bit of Route 66, of which I know Rich is a researcher, but it's hard to prepare for. So I got as much information as I could. And our first trip in 2010 actually entailed me having 3 books on my lap and 4 maps, trying to make it all kind of come together as we're driving and trying to find the route. There's a couple of things that helped us along the way, actually, on our not knowing anybody on the road or anything like that. That was actually, we would come across these little shields that someone would paint.
Gee, I wonder where those came from.
Along the way. And it was fantastic because you would be driving for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you'd be like, I think we missed the turnoff. Then all of a sudden, there'd be this shield there. And it was great. It was great to keep you online, but or on the road. The other thing is my husband had noticed that the bridges on the side of the road are like the old 1930s bridges.
Yeah.
And that was a good clue to know that you were staying on the right track.
Yeah, or you'd see the expansion joints or things like that. There's some of the Route 66 shields. Now, a lot of people like to lay claim that I painted all these shields along Route 66. That's not necessarily true. Now, I have painted them in all 8 states, but typically I would paint them on lesser known alignments and things like that. There's a lot of other people out there that have also painted shields, and God bless them for doing it.
That's great stuff because it really does help.
So when did you get interested in 66?
I started researching about 2006. We took our first trip in 2010.
Okay, you and Scott in 2010. Yeah, and so what does he think about Route 66 now?
It completely changed our lives. He is willing to get in a car and go. And stop along the way and do things and see things. And Sometimes it's hard to pry them out of the car, but I do. But yeah, no, it's been a whole different thing. The whole process of going and exploring and just being out there on the road together too, it just really helps. It's just a really neat, I don't want to say it. It's just a really neat time to be together out doing something we both are now enjoying. So yeah, it's good times.
That's good. It's always glad to hear someone kind of getting converted over. I know I drive the Route 66 adventure truck around. It's got all the stickers and stuff on it and everything, and it provokes a lot of attention. But and a lot of times I'll be at a gas station and someone will just casually stop and ask me something. I'll be like, hey, you ought to just get off the highway and just drive down this road for a little bit. And they're always kind of hesitant, like as if there's some sort of pitfall waiting around the corner for them and we're going to snare them up and trap them, but
we kind of do, though. That's our intent.
Yeah.
That's our intent, is to trap people and get them interested in 66.
But in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, we're not gonna flatten their tires and charge them $400 for a flat repair or something, It reminds me of the Griswolds on summer vacation when Chevy Chase sends the family truckster flying and blows all the tires out, and the guy extorts them for all the money in his pocket. That doesn't happen on Route 66. No. I don't think it does. It may have happened back in the day. I did hear some stories through like Delbert True and that about some people that would take advantage of stranded motorists, but that doesn't happen anymore today. But yeah, it's always nice to see someone kind of convert over from that destinationist mentality to kind of slowing down and taking the back roads and just seeing what there is out there.
And realistically, we've actually even our first trip, everybody says it's 2,448 miles to from Chicago to LA to Santa Monica Pier. And I'm going to tell you that because of all the stuff that I had, and we tried to turn around and get every alignment we could possibly find.
Yeah.
We literally put on 3,600 miles one way.
That's easy to do.
It's easy to do. Or, and if you don't get lost at least 5 times, you haven't done it right.
Yeah.
So just turn around and go back. It's not that hard.
Yeah. And not to mention, there's all sorts of little side trips that some people might even say aren't even included on Route 66, like Red Oak 2 and near Carthage, Missouri is probably 2 or 3 miles removed from Route 66. The Grand Canyon definitely isn't on Route 66. There's plenty of other places that aren't on Route 66, but that can draw you in from the corridor.
And they're so worth it. It's so worth to take that little bitty side trip out there and see what people have done.
Yeah. So Rita and I were talking earlier about motels and stuff, and so we'll just kind of maybe refresh that conversation here. What do you think about all the different activity on Route 66? I always refer to it as the evolution of Route 66 because it changes year after year after year. What do you think about all this stuff?
Well, I think we need to have that evolution to keep it expanding and going and bringing new interest. The older people and not with us anymore, but then also just those places that may have shut down or whatnot. It's sad to see those go, but I mean, change is change, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
So we've seen a lot of motels over the last 10 years be refurbished. And before I get into that, maybe George, how are we looking on the chat overlay? What are we looking at for that right now? I'd like to see maybe some of the interactions that are happening out there on Facebook land and YouTube. Do we have anything coming in quite yet?
You got a lot of stuff coming in. Now, there you go. Start talking, folks. As you start talking, we're going to pop up.
Rita's a rock star. Is that shirt that Rita is available for sale? I'm sure it is. If you go to the Roadkill Cafe in Seligman, Arizona, that's probably still available, I think.
And maybe if not, I know she has a ton of great shirts out there.
Debbie's got a ton of stuff. Yeah, she's got a whole souvenir shop there, just chock full of all sorts of things: stickers, keychains, shirts, just anything you can imagine.
And everybody, feel free to chime in. Only the new ones are going to come through when the chat feed comes up. So if you've already left a message, It's not going to come up in this feed, but we can always touch base with it later. I'm going to probably butcher this name, Jeff DeRocher.
Jeff
Oh,
DuRocher. Jeff
I
DuRocher.
really butchered that one. He said something's wrong because Rita seems speechless. On that note, I'm cutting out. You guys have fun.
Good one, Jeff. Jeff's another one that would help us at different events and stuff like that. He's another dedicated roadie. Gerald Perini looks like he may have a question. We'll see if it comes through. Maybe George, I'm not looking at the screen actively, so you may have to interrupt me here and there. But anyway, we were talking about earlier before the show started, we were talking about motels, and I've got a vested interest in at least one motel on Route 66. And we were talking about people traveling Route 66 and the affordability of it and stuff like that. And we were talking about the differences between smaller boutique motels and then the larger motels. Let's see here. I'm looking. Okay. I'm just looking at the chat.
Do I want to know?
There's some stuff on there. He wants to know who can beat him. I got the logo on the way. I can't see his chat because the logo's in the way. Might have to drop the logo out, George. Anyway, but we were talking about, let's see here. Who can beat me on being the earliest to travel Route 66? He was 6 years old in 1956. So wow. He's 70-something years old. There's probably some people out there that could beat you, I bet. But here tonight, no, probably not. Love to hear your story sometime, Gerald. Thanks for chiming in. So anyway, we talked about the affordability of traveling Route 66, and you and I were discussing basically how to budget your trip for Route 66, and a lot of that has to do with lodging and food and stuff like that. So I guess you and I were talking about, we were kind of afraid of places like the Boots, who's undergone new ownership in a completely new rehabilitation, restoration, so to speak, and they've done a fabulous job down there. Maybe we could show a couple of pictures up of the Boots, and how the rates. I don't know what the rates are right now, but just saying indirectly, these boutique motels, in order to basically stay afloat and make their overhead and make money, they got to charge more money than these larger motels. Sometimes $130, $140 a night, which, if you're on the road,
it eats up your budget.
Yeah.
Your road budget.
Yeah. How many nights would you say you guys traveled along the road?
We typically probably 14 to 18. So it all depends on how we can work my husband's schedule.
How many times have you guys done it, or how many times have you done it?
So Scott and I have done the entire trip. We did a complete westbound trip, and then we did a complete eastbound trip. And then we've done several sections through the way. I've done 2 girls trips out. Those were great fun. Met a lot of people, got to see a lot of people. So I've up and down quite a bit. But us personally, we like to come down. We really, really enjoy doing the motor tours. Our first trip in 2010, we came back and I started researching what else can get me down this way, what can get me to 66, and found the Illinois Route 66 Association. And they put on a fabulous motor tour the second weekend in June every year. Hopefully it still continues, but and so we started in 2012, I believe, was our first trip down to that one, and we haven't missed one since. And then, with you guys, the Missouri Motor Tour, we've not missed those yet either. So you've had this will be the 4th year for this.
Yeah,
right?
4th year straight. So
and now Texas,
put that QR code up, George,
yeah,
and people can sign up for our motor tour coming up in September.
Absolutely. It's a great time. Lots of good fun, lots of good people. And then last year we actually made it out to Texas for Texas's old Route 66 Association Motor Tour, which was fantastic. They did a great job. Stephanie and Gary Daggett. And
great people.
Dora Maroney.
Yeah.
They just put together such a wonderful tour out that way too. So it's worth the trip out to Texas, everyone.
Texas is great. I love Texas.
You
really get to see old 66, the old concrete pavement and everything. And Amarillo's a neat town. McLean's a neat town. So when you're traveling down 66 and you're putting in 2 2 weeks or more, and you're at $130, $140 a day. That really adds up.
Adds up.
So we were talking about some of those little boutique motels and how they survive versus some of the larger ones. You know, some of the larger ones that I would mention would be like the Campbell Motel in Tulsa. I don't know how much they charge, but you know, they're downtown Tulsa, so it's already somewhat of a premium anyway.
And I feel like when we stopped in there, I feel like that was probably like 140, 145
Yeah.
or something, which, you know, but it looked like a really cool place to stay. We stopped in just to get our little passport stamp.
Mhm.
But when you do those passports, you stamp it, it brings your mind back to coming back to that place.
Yeah.
So they're good to do.
That's a good point. That's a good
so-
point. La Posada, that's another one. That's a super high-end motel in Winslow, Arizona. I'm not sure what their rates are. They're probably, you know, kind of high, but then you're talking about an exquisite place. Munger Moss would be one that has a lot of rooms. It's a bigger motel, and it's on the more affordable side. The Munger Moss, I think its rooms are probably like around $60-$70 a night. So yeah, it helps to average out your overall, you know, lodging expenses going down the road.
I feel like staying at the Munger Moss is just kind of one of those quintessential
Definitely one of the spots that you
need to stay.
Yeah, you always got to go to the Munger Moss and stay there. If you haven't stayed there at least once, you got to do it at least one time on a Route 66 trip. They got probably hands down one of the most iconic signs, neon signs on all of Route 66. So yeah, that's definitely one that, you know, and it's easy on the pocketbook.
Yeah.
Even the El Rancho is another one out in Gallup, New Mexico. Yeah, I stay there almost every time I go through Gallup. It's really affordable. The place is top notch. You ever stayed there before?
Oh, yeah. I've stayed twice. Yeah, and I would go back again.
What's your favorite thing about the El Rancho?
Just probably the uniqueness of it. We actually, the first time when we stayed, we got to stay in the one little room off to the left that has there's a chair, a spot for one chair on a balcony.
Yes.
That's it. And so that was the first one we stayed at. And then we stayed at a nicer, not nicer, but a bigger room down the way when we had a girls trip. So, but there's just an atmosphere there. We went down, it's kind of got a couple of places. Well, the food there at the little cafe
Their
or restaurant
cafe,
in there
yeah,
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then they have a bar that you kind of have to walk down a hallway to get to. It's
Yep.
kind of in the back, but it's a nice little bar. We sat down there and just chit-chatted, and yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah, it's a really neat place
A lot
to
of
hang out.
history.
Yeah, because you go out in the hallways and you see all the different name plaques above the doors, like the Ronald Reagan room and all the different Western stars. There was who's the big Western star?
John Wayne.
Was it John Wayne that rode his horse into the lobby?
It might have been.
There was a story in the El Rancho about one of the movie stars, because back in the 1940s they would shoot most of the westerns and the movies and stuff out there in New Mexico. It was a perfect setting for those types of movies, and everybody would stay there. All the different movie stars stayed there, and almost anybody you can think of in the 1930s through 50s stayed at the El Rancho. And from what I gather, I think John Wayne had rode his horse in to the lobby of the El Rancho, which is pretty neat. Okay, so I know I get a lot of questions from people interested or just vaguely curious about Route 66. What's a common question you get from people that are interested in Route 66?
What's a roadie?
Yeah, a roadie.
What do you mean when you call yourself a roadie? Is
that a derogatory term, or is that a?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty proud to be a roadie and a active member of the Route 66 community. I mean, there's so many great people out there that I just love all of them. Even Jeff Durocher.
Yeah. Yeah, roadies are great. Let's I forgot to put footage of that in there, but Yeah. So those of you that don't know me very well, I've got a Route 66 hood. There might be some pictures there. I don't know. I used to have on my adventure truck, and I would have all the different roadies and important business owners along Route 66 sign that hood, and it's just almost entirely full of signatures. There's a little bit of room here and there for new people to sign, but at any rate, let's see what questions we have here. George, did you field any specific questions that I missed, maybe? Because I can see all the comments and stuff.
No, we're looking for the picture you signing stuff. Come on now. Yeah, we got your good friend Jeff wants to know that there's a good place to go and see all the events, schedule, easy place for people to see a schedule of all the events happening on Route 66.
Yeah, I think
there is an Events on 66 page.
Yeah, I started a website called Events on Route 66, and I let Penny have that. I think at some point, I think she's working on that. Yeah, it's difficult to field all the different events along Route 66. It really is, and that was something I recognized in my earlier years, and that's why I tried creating that website. But it was a full-time gig that I couldn't keep up with.
But that's good, because that's a lot of events. That's a lot of people coming to 66 for different things.
Yeah. Somebody says it was Errol Flynn.
Oh,
Errol Flynn that rode his horse into the Rancho. I think that's right. I knew it was somebody, and from what I gather, it was a true legend that actually happened. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
We want to know, is Rita's shirt available for sale?
We think it is. How long ago did you get that shirt?
2021.
So recently.
So fairly recently.
Yeah. Well, then I would say it's pretty safe to say that shirt's still available. So yeah, go call Debbie down at the down in Seligman, Arizona, at the Roadkill Cafe, and yeah, she'll get you hooked up with one, I'm sure.
And if you haven't seen,
there's the Mugger Moss we were talking about earlier. Yeah, George.
There's the hood right there for you.
That's the hood. If you look closely at the screen, you'll see little scribbles all across that hood. Those are signatures of roadies and important business owners along Route 66. And, I feel bad because Rita signed the hood, and I forgot to load that into the deck, but she actually signed it. Maybe I'll find that here in a second during a break. But, I still have people signing the hood occasionally. It's by invitation only. And it's reserved for those hardcore roadies and business owners. And it's there's a lot of people that aren't with us anymore on that hood. I've been doing that since 2010. Anyway,
so you probably can't buy the shirt off of Rita's back. Thank you for that chat. She probably does want to keep her shirt.
Who is that?
Unfortunately, it just says Facebook user. Feel free to put your name out there, but yeah, we probably can't buy the actual shirt Rita is wearing. Although I'm sure Rita, I'm sure there's a price for everything, right?
Is that one of those fetishes again?
It might be. We had a discussion, didn't we? We sure did.
We were talking about the online fetishes, about people and feet and hands, fingers. People will pay for pictures.
That was great. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad I could stop in for this. I'm going to bounce back out. You guys keep talking about these fetishes. Yeah. I'll be back for some more chat later.
To make money, maybe people want to look at my ugly feet.
I did love my shirt so much.
Hey, you might be able to double your money.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. Well, so right about now is usually when I take a sponsorship break, but today's Route 66 tip would normally be sponsored by somebody, but today it's by nobody. So just to tell you, everybody out there, anyone who's got a business or something really cool on Route 66, they want to give a shout out and allow me to promote that for you. We've got the ability to promote your business through sponsorship. But today's tip is sponsored by nobody. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please shoot me a message. Let me know. It's really cheap. It's inexpensive. We're just trying to cover the cost of doing this. It's not free. We spend a lot of money on the software and the equipment to do this stream to make it available to everybody. So if you think about it, or if you know anybody who's interested, let me know. We sure could use the sponsorships, and we'd love to promote your business. So On with today's tip. And Rita, maybe you can help me with today's tip. First time travelers. We see a lot of this discussion on Facebook. I know I get a lot of questions to me all the time, and I can't answer them all. And I usually direct people back into the Facebook forums to try to get answers. But our tip today, at least for me, and you can help me build on this, is for the first time Route 66 traveler, you should really, before taking your first trip, establish a motive and goals. And I'll repeat that. Establish a motive and goals. So in other words, what is your reason for going out and doing Route 66? What do you plan to accomplish? And for Rita, what was that again? You mentioned it earlier.
To be able to travel with my husband,
That's
to entice him to get out there and go.
Maybe bond a little bit.
Right?
Yeah, bond a little bit. Now for me, a lot of times people will ask me what my interest is in the old roads. And I give them kind of the same line, which is my mother was an archaeologist. And my father was into asphalt paving, and we used to take road trips, and I'd be really intrigued with dead end roads and pathways. But really, the motive for me when I took my first big extended trip, now I've been doing it since the early 2000s, but I took my first big 6-week trip in 2010. It was more of a spiritual thing. I kind of wanted some self-reflection, wanted to find myself, and nothing does it better than Route 66.
And ironically, we did our trip, and I feel like I found myself after. Like that changed who I was.
How so?
Just my entire life revolves around Route 66, promoting, talking to people, to the point where people's eyes glaze over and they're like, Rita's talking again about Route 66.
Hopefully they're not glazing over right now.
Right. But those same people are also the same ones that are the first people to come up and ask, hey, I'm thinking about going this way. What should I do? And I said, I'm here for you. What do you need? So,
yeah. So do you agree with me that you should have a motive or maybe some goals?
It probably wouldn't hurt, but I also understand that you don't know what you know until you know.
Yeah.
So, those of us who have been out there and traveled it and continue to travel it, it's our responsibility to allow and help people know what they can know.
That's right.
So
it sounds a lot like what Gary Turner would say. He was very instrumental in kind of molding me and what I do today and how I kind of perform. It was like he used to always say, it's a trip of a lifetime. And I never understood that, because my motive at first for going out and doing Route 66 in the early 2000s was pure research. I just wanted to go find that road. I just wanted to go find the roadbed. I didn't have much interest in the people and the places so much, but I wanted to go find that roadbed where it went. That was my thing. Talking about getting out there on your first time, one of the things that Gary was trying to teach people was do some research. So what's going to give you the motivation? What's going to give you the goals? Well, I think going out and doing just old school research, getting a couple books, maybe a couple guidebooks, some maps, and actually just sitting down and reading them and going through them, putting Post-it notes in them, flagging off certain things is probably the way to do it. What would you say?
Well, I would say that the first time that we went out, there was not much available. I didn't know about Jerry's Easy Guide. I didn't know about the set of Jim Ross's maps. And so I kind of just took anything I could find at that point. I mean, you said Gary Turner. I didn't get the opportunity to meet him, but one of his daughters was at Cape Rita when we stopped in there. So literally the only souvenir I bought the whole way on Route 66, our first trip, was David Wickline's book.
That's a good book.
It was. And so that was one of the books that I was trying to kind of page through as I was going. There was another one that was a lost and found book. And then I gone to AAA and got a bunch of maps and just kind of navigated the best I could.
Was AAA helpful?
No.
No, because I tried the same thing early on.
And I actually tested them, and I had them make me a triptych one time, and God bless them, they tried. My local AAA office has to deal with me on a regular basis. So I'm constantly pushing them to up their game and get better things. And they actually now have a generic map that kind of tells a little bit about 66 and that can lead you in a way. And they also, certain ones of their maps will actually highlight, like 11th Street through Tulsa.
Yeah.
They actually highlight some of that. So they're getting closer and closer. And I know AAA has started putting on
I think
they're fast and stuff. I think they're starting to.
I think they're doing some more
doing more.
maps that cater towards historic and vintage highways and byways.
Which is gonna help.
Yeah, Route 66, Dixie Highway, Santa Fe Trail, Lincoln Highway, all those big name trails and roads. They're all deserving of having a proper route.
Absolutely.
And so I think if you get a chance to get some books and just go through it, I mean, it's going to help stimulate your interest. What I like to try to tell people to avoid, because it's so easy to do. Last episode was sponsored by Route 66 Navigation, which is an Android and iOS app for your phone. And that helps you navigate Route 66. But it shouldn't be the only device you use. It shouldn't be the only tool you use, because what you want to avoid, and this is another term that I've coined over the years, is you don't want to become what I refer to as a drive-by shooter. What's a drive-by shooter?
It's where you just kind of pull up, take a picture, and run away.
Yeah.
You don't get to stop and enjoy it.
No, yeah. And I've seen people do it so many times all over Route 66, where they pull up, roll their window down, click, 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 and then zoop, take off. Yeah. And it's so interesting when I talk with people who say they've done Route 66. I say, one of the first things I ask them is, how long did it take you? Why would I ask that question?
Because if it took you 4 days, you were on the highway.
You didn't do Route 66. You did I-44 and 40 and 55. Yeah, if you did Route 66 in less than a week, you didn't do Route 66.
I mean, and we're glad that you're out there trying.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
Well, but sometimes we get people who will talk about how it was a lackluster experience.
But it also depends on how much you're willing to put into it.
That's
what your attitude is going into it. Are you going to have a good time? Are you going to be adventurous and explore? Or are you just going to, because it's on vacation, it's on a list of things you could do? Yeah.
You really got to research it and immerse yourself. So that's more of my tip of the day, is to, if you're thinking about doing Route 66, and let's say, okay, I'm sure there's going to be some questions out there. But Rich, Rita, I've only got 4 days to spare. I work full time. Well, my answer to that is, you're never going to do all Route 66 in 4 days. So you're better off biting off little segments at a time. What do you think is probably the best little segment to bite off and chew if you've only got 4 days? I mean, I know it depends. Fair. It depends on location, but
that's not fair. It's all fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I typically come down and do helping and whatnot and focus more on Illinois and Missouri, because, it's a 12-hour drive, 9 to 12-hour drive just for me to even get to 66 anywhere along this way. So that's the closest for me. My heart wants me the entire route all the time. So, but I don't know that I can narrow it down to just one little section. They're all fantastic.
We got, I agree. And I would say, if you only got 4 days,
go to where you can.
Yeah. Pick the spot that's closest to you. So if you're in Wisconsin, try to do Chicago down to Springfield, or Chicago down to, Litchfield.
Yeah. You're not going to do, you can do Illinois, I guess, in 4 days, but you really need to do Illinois.
You could also spend a week and a half in Illinois. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could spend a week and a half, 2 weeks in Missouri.
Yeah. Just how much you want to put into it.
Yeah. You can, even Kansas only being 12 and a half, 13 miles, you could spend an entire day or 2 days there at least, if you really wanted to. So yeah, for those people out there who are just, pondering or wondering what they should do, if you only got a couple days, then
Do what you can.
Do what you can, but don't try to cram, 2 weeks worth of travel, 3 weeks worth of travel into 2 days.
And it depends on who you are. Like my first trip, for some reason, my brain said I had to do the whole trip.
Yeah.
And I hear about everybody do sections and stuff like that. And that's great because it's, as you always say, go your own way, do your own thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I need to do the entire westbound trip. And then I could go down and do sections and then do the entire eastbound trip. So, and now I just want to be down here. So
it's really easy to get excited over. I know the first time I set out, I wanted to do the whole thing, and I didn't. I just did what I could. I did parts of Missouri. I did parts of Kansas.
Well, and I'm not saying we didn't miss a bunch because we knew we missed a bunch. But what we did is we just actually literally made a list.
Mm-hmm.
If we got somewhere that we missed, then it just went on our list for the next trip. And yes, there's a next trip. There's seems to always be a next trip.
Yeah. If you do it the right way, you'll know, because you'll want to always keep coming back. If you didn't do it the right way, folks, you're going to say, I did that Route 66. It was all right. Now, if you did it the right way, you will know, because you're going to want to come back over and over again.
And then it'll get into your heart and your soul.
Yep.
And it never leaves.
Yeah. And you may end up trying to dig out a motel. You may try to dig 50 tons of dirt out of a motel to replace the plumbing. We did that this last week. You may end up buying a business. You may end up
wanting to buy several businesses.
Yeah, or selling merchandise up and down 66. We got a lot of people that do that. They go up and down 66 selling merchandise, photographs, shirts, things, and there's a lot of people out there that make 66 their life. And I'm not saying you got to go overboard, but if you did it right, there's always that yearning in the back of your mind that says, I would really like to go back out and do this, or go back out and do that.
And I got to say that one of our things that when we first started, it was all about the road, getting every alignment in, kind of checking it off our list, just trying to hit every last little piece of the road. As we got to meet people and know people, it has truly, purely been come down to see people at the festivals, at Birthplace Festival, at whatever relighting we can make it to. There's just so many good people out there, and I love being able to call all of them my family, my friends. They're fantastic.
Yeah, it is really a family. It's some of my closest friends I've met along Route 66, and I don't know, it's just a different way of life.
It's a fantastic community.
Yeah,
I'm proud to be a part of it.
I want to say we're probably as close to the original, what was thought of at least ideological American family. We are the American community, Route 66ers.
I always joke when people are like, "Why are you going down there again?" I always say it's because it's the family I want to go see.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better. Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it's great or how we do it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie.
Sure is.
You just can't find it anywhere else. I know a lot of people belong to different clubs, but we all get together. It's just been a long time since the International Festival. Hopefully here coming up with the Centennial 2026, we'll have a big, huge bash somewhere.
I keep pushing for people to come down this way. I keep telling them the 100th anniversary is coming up.
Yeah.
So, but
just a couple of years away.
It is. It's coming fast.
Yes, it is. Yes,
our eastbound trip was in 2016 on the 90th anniversary. And I was really upset because we went out there on the 90th just to go and get the merchandise that said 90th anniversary, and there was hardly anything out there. So
yeah,
we're hoping that the 100th they'll have more to offer.
I hope so too, and I hope I'll have at least my own little mom and pop stand on Route 66 by that time. The Shamrock Court. I hope to God that thing will be up and running by then. Whether it's me running it or somebody else, I just want to see it get there.
And there's a whole team behind you hoping that same thing happens.
Yep, lots of support from people on 66. Yeah. So any other questions out there, George? I know I haven't been looking too much. Any questions? See here.
No, I mean, a lot of people have kind of just been answering each other's questions at this point, reading it. It's kind of something about where's Rita's shorts.
Where's Rita's shorts? Is that an inside joke?
No, that's because I can't believe there's not anything about a spaghetti tank top either. Because that's what everybody sees me in, is a spaghetti strap tank top and shorts. So,
folks, she was cold this week. I mean, she was. I thought she was going to be down here in shorts and t-shirt, and
I did pretty good. But that one day it was pretty nippy out, and I had some long underwear on. I brought them down from up north.
Usually
my cold and my colder bag.
Yeah, usually you Northerners like to mock us and make fun of us for our 25-degree days for being so cold, and you know.
And I do, but
it's a little cold this week.
Well, you know that Shamrock has that wind vortex in there.
Yeah,
it's pretty chilly. So.
Yeah, the Shamrock is a weird anomaly. It's like when you're out in front of the building, it's shaped like a horseshoe and almost like a megaphone, because it's one of the only motels on Route 66 that also has the interstate running right by it. And you just hear every single truck. Everything is amplified out there in the front of that place. But then when you go inside the building, you know, the walls are like at least 12 inches thick of rock. And it's really nice and quiet. And then you go out to the back, and it's super peaceful. It's just strange. Yeah. And the wind, like you said, is just like a vortex to there. It just comes whipping through there. And yeah, it's I know every time I go down there and say I check out the weather and it says, oh, it's going to be 50 degrees today, I take a coat. I know it's going to be cold. The wind is going to be cold, and everything's going to suck. So, well,
right,
you know, George,
got some questions. Illinois Association Motor Tour. Does anybody got some dates that they're out there real fast? A few people have asked.
Second weekend of June.
She said, Rita says second weekend of June, and they typically cross the Chain of Rocks Bridge every other year or so, don't they?
It starts one year, it'll start in the north and head south, and the next year it'll start in the south and head north. And when it starts in the south, they really do a good job of trying to coordinate with the Greenway River.
Great Rivers Greenways.
There it is. To coordinate that we can drive across the Chain of Rocks Bridge. We pay a small nominal fee, which we're all grateful to do, just to have that experience to go across. But I think they're doing a big project, Elizabeth said, that on the other side of Missouri now. So I'm not sure if that's going to be an availability.
Yeah, I've got information on that. I don't have it here readily available, but I can tell you about it. So Missouri was like, the Missouri side of the Chain of Rocks Bridge was like a do not go zone. Like, if you stop there for any longer than 5 minutes, your windows will get busted out and everything that was worth of value will be gone. It was like that area, and I'm just telling the truth. I know I'm not painting a picture any worse than what it was. Yeah. That area is the perfect opportunity for a criminal. I mean, you've got umpteen different directions you can go and vanish. Yep. And so it happened a lot. So they barricaded off that area and put all sorts of signs out that said, do not stop here. And so it's been a given that the Illinois side has always been the safer alternative if you want to explore the Chain of Rocks Bridge. But so Great Rivers Greenway put together some funding and had some cooperation, and they are going to build a new welcome center over there at the Missouri side. So, and it's supposed to have security and all sorts of good stuff, bathrooms. Yeah. We can't wait. It's exciting. And we're hoping one day they'll replicate the toll house that used to stand there on the Missouri side. That'd be really neat. Cool. That was one of my recommendations. I was one of the interested parties that sat in on that whole deal. But yeah, if they're not going to do the Chain of Rocks Bridge this year, the Missouri Association is on our motor tour. We're actually starting in Litchfield, Illinois this year and heading towards Cuba. So that'll be fun. We're going to start in Litchfield, take in drive-in movie theater. There, the Skyview. I can't beat that. That's a great place. Fantastic place. And then I'm going to try to get it arranged to where we can at least go across the bridge. You may have to come back and go back towards Mitchell and circle back around on the interstate. I'm sure by then the Missouri side will be all tore up. But that's the plan, is we're going to try to cross over the bridge. So yeah, sign up, click that QR code and join us. Yeah.
It's great fun.
You know, George, do we have, oh wait, I saw a message on there.
Uh-oh.
Journey and Joe wants to know when the next Shamrock Court event is. Well, for those of you interested in coming out there and helping me at the Shamrock Court.
That's an event. That is the event.
What?
Right? Coming to help you.
Yeah, that is an event. It's you'll never forget it. Right, Rita?
Well, we're going to put you to work. So.
You won't forget it, at least for a few days, because you'll be sore afterwards. But you know, go to that footage of the Shamrock.
I'm coming live. Here we go.
I want you to show the video of Rita tearing apart the inside of the Shamrock. So find that video.
That's early on.
There it is. All right, here it is. Oh, we got to do better than this next time, George.
That was not nearly graphic enough.
No, there's no sound or anything, but she is destroying the kitchen inside the Shamrock motor court.
And then walking that cabinet down a 3-foot drop.
Yeah, the floors within the main building were completely destroyed. They were rotted out due to moisture. Yeah. But so the next event, I can't tell you, but I can tell you this. I'll be down there probably at least every other week for the next couple of months. I was just down there this week. I'm going to take this coming week and spend time working. And then, I'll be down there probably next week doing some work. I got a lot of things I can do in preparation, but I will notify people on the Facebook page. That's, what is that? Route 6 saving the.
Look like an idiot.
Saving. Oh, there she is.
All right. Freaking beast mode.
Destroying the kitchen, and you can see.
She's getting.
I wish we had a better clarity, a better view of that. You can see the oven is sunken down. The floors
you could
have sunken
just
down
grab
so
this one
much.
right here and rip it off the wall.
Oh gosh.
I'm joking. That one's not going to come off the wall.
Pause the video, George. So, yeah, the walls are floating like literally 18 inches to almost 2 feet in the air, because the floors are completely gone in that place. And so that's something we're working on next.
The Great Wave of Missouri.
Yeah, it was like a roller coaster in there. So yeah, if you're interested in Shamrock events, please get in the group on Facebook, Shamrock Court. It's one of my groups, and every time I go down there, I post notices so that people can join me. And I would love to have you down there. We typically will buy lunch and stuff, and we have fires and a lot of discussions and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks Joe for asking about that. The Facebook page, I don't know if you guys can find that, George, for later. We'll post it at the end of this episode where you can join us. Maybe we'll get a link up there for you. But I was trolling around today in preparation for this episode, and I came across, those memories you get, Rita, on Facebook. It was one of my memories.
Should I be worried?
No.
Okay.
We showed the worst of you tearing apart that cabinet like a beast. But I want to show the video. I think it was 11 years ago. We talked about me painting shields earlier in the episode, and I had a shield painting episode go wrong out in California near Goffs, and which was bad enough because on the highway out there near Goffs, the trucks just come through like crazy. It was one of the most difficult shields I painted on the road, and I never did go back and paint it again. But and one of the users did post that Facebook page for Saving the Shamrock Court. George, can we see that video? Do we have it ready to go? It's Roman Rich out here, out in Goffs, California. Just want to show you my sign here before I get ran over. I hope it was worth it because I had a little backfire. I'll get back in the truck because there's a car coming. As you can see, I got black paint all over my face. I went to go spray the lettering on that sign out there, and the thing for some reason just popped and blew all over my face. So this is the
privilege I have of doing this. So never had this happen before. So now I get to spend the next 5 minutes cleaning my face off. So hope you all enjoyed the sign out there. And stay tuned for more comedy. So long.
Look at that young guy. What a young stud, huh? It was 11 years ago I did that out in California today, and went out there and painted that shield. I'm sure it's long gone because nothing lasts long out in the desert. But that was a lot of fun, and it wasn't the first time I managed to coat my face with paint. But I thought that was interesting.
The things you do for the road.
Yep. The sacrifices I make, the abuse I take, especially from you.
I hate to tell you, but you're not the only one that takes abuse from me.
That's Rita.
You're an equal opportunity,
abuser. Yeah.
In a fun way.
Well, we're coming up on our 66 minutes. Rita, thanks for making it down this last week. I really appreciate your help at the Shamrock. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And so for the audience out there, we hope you liked it. Before I go into anything else, Rita, is there any parting words you'd like to extend to our audience?
Just make it down to 66 and do the best you can and have the most fun you can. Talk to the people and enjoy your trip.
It's all about making those new connections and making memories.
Absolutely. And you will make friends for life.
That's right.
You really will.
Yep. God bless Gary, because he said it best. Friends for life. So the next show is going to be next Sunday at 7 p.m. We will promote it before it comes out. So be looking for us on Facebook and stuff. It'll be 7 p.m. just like tonight. If you're interested in how to see that, just find me on Facebook, follow me, and you can find Hooked on Route 66 or Roman Rich. You can follow either one or both. Let's see here. One of the places that most people don't know where they can follow me is on Google Maps. You can see a lot of the adventures I take and some of the reviews I make and places I go, and I post on Google Maps very often. So follow me there. That's a little known place. And then Twitter and Instagram and all those great places, things like that. At some point, we would like to see a video question from somebody. So if you're on Facebook and you have Messenger and you have a question for me, send it over to me with a video. Just get it out and record it on your phone real quick. I'll take care of the rest. Send me that live video question, and I'll be sure to post it on the next episode, and I'll answer it for you. As for now, we would like to ask you for donations if at all possible. We can't do this show for free. So if you like the show, you like what we're doing, maybe chip us a few bucks. You can just click on that QR code there up in the corner. So there's a lot behind the scenes here you don't see. I got George and his son, George, helping out. And they're doing a great job. And we love to keep doing this for you. It's a lot of fun. So at any rate, I don't think there's anything else. Is there, George? I believe somebody provided the link for the Shamrock.
Yeah, if you go on the chats, you know what? You can go ahead and get the link. I'm sure we can also post it on this live video underneath. And next week, bring that back up as much as also talking about the Illinois Motor Tour. We can have some more information posted on that. Otherwise, I think we're pretty good.
Awesome. Well, guys, maybe next month I'll just give you a quick reminder. And Vanita, Oklahoma, and it'd be nice to grab a couple of you and get you on screen while we're down there. So hope to see you there in a month. And that's all I got for right now. So send me those questions, send me the comments. Most importantly, share this video because that's going to get more people involved, and that's what we love. I'm Roman Rich. As always, go your own way.